Well, friends, over the weekend there were some major protests in Brazil protesting the shutdown of X. We need to talk about that. We got other updates here. We got an expansion of the apple juice recall to even more stores than what it was before. And we have a report from one of you guys who have had the same homeowner's insurance for 50 years and was canceled out of the blue. And we got New Zealand checking in and letting us know what's going on down under. And one farmer shares the struggles of today and asking the question of whether it is still worth it to be a professional farmer. You do well to hear their heart and just kind of understand what a lot of farmers are going through these days. We got that and a whole lot more on today's update. Let's jump into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and these are your updates that you guys are sending in on what's going on out there in the world. If you have something to share, make sure you use the word update somewhere in your comment to get it to the right place. Let us know what you're seeing potentially in the news, if it's breaking news. If it's old news, we probably covered it already. But breaking news or things that you're seeing at your workplaces, conversations you've had with people who know stuff, please do share those things down in the comment section. We do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group, who makes these updates possible. If you have a retirement account, is stocks and bonds or other mutual funds really the best place for it? If you want to get into something safe, like gold, silver, or platinum, like a rock that will hold its value, then you might want to talk to Jonathan and his team about what that would look like for you and your accounts. If you contact them, there's no obligation whatsoever, but they will be able to answer your questions and give you kind of the flow of what it would look like and what might work for you. There'll be a link at the end of the video for you to find out more. All right, there was a sea of protesters this weekend for a free speech rally in Brazil after the judge's dictatorial decisions to shut down X or Twitter within the country. This is big stuff out there. Twitter refused to censor voices, including politicians from the opposition. And because of that, because it went public with those demands that they were being told to quietly do this, do it in secret so nobody will know, they said, well, we're going to tell everyone what you've asked us to do, and we're going to refuse to do it because it's illegal according to the Brazilian Constitution. And the judges so infuriated by that they ordered everyone to not go on to X. In fact, they wanted to charge $9,000 to any citizen of Brazil that violated and went to the Twitter website. How dare you go to the wrong website? Think wrong thoughts. Be exposed to other people having real conversations. Hearing from the opposition party of the government. Sounds less and less like a legitimate government, doesn't it? Yeah, that's happening. Earthquakes over the weekend in California, temporarily increasing the risk of the big one. The earthquakes themselves, not a serious deal, but of course, anytime you get some shaking, that means some things are moving, and they are long overdue for a really big quake. And because of that, people are a little on edge, right? Now, if nothing happens within a week or so, then it's kind of like it's back to normal, right? But as long as things are kind of moving a little bit, all it takes is just that fault to slip, and a big break happens. So, was this just a quake with its aftershocks, or are these all foreshocks before the big one? And there's no real way of telling. You may get a text alert right before. This has been enacted. This happened to me in Taiwan. I got a text alert on my phone. I have an American phone, but I was linked up to their network, and it sent it out to all cell phones in Taiwan. I got the text alert. I saw it, and then it was like a couple seconds later, everything started shaking. It was a little bit of warning, and it was great because it prepares you, because then you at least when it starts shaking, you're like, oh, this is the earthquake I just read about. And your brain can immediately go, this is an earthquake. And you're not kind of like, oh, what's happening? What is this? Is this? Because your brain, if you listen to a bunch of these other channels, they talk about the OODA loop, right? Where you have to, you kind of have to understand what's going on first before you can make a decision. You have to orient. You have to observe, orient, decide, and then act or whatever, something like that. But basically, just that process where you have to observe what's going on. You have to then orient yourself to how this relates to me. You have to process it a little bit. Then you have to make a decision of what am I going to do about it before you can take an action. It's a process you have to work through, and those text alerts really do help with that, so that you can observe and orient very quickly. It helps you through that process, so you can then move to a decision of what you should do about it. And so that's in place here in the United States as well. So if there is an earthquake, I'm sure people get the text alerts before that happens. It's not like a text alert. It's if you've gotten the emergency buzz things, it just your phone starts going and it starts flashing the warning of whatever it is. That's probably going to happen in the near future when Russia launches the nuclear strike on us. But anyway, so earthquakes there. Kmart. This is one of the viewers on this channel with a report. They are now selling 4% vinegar when it's always been 5% vinegar. 4% is not strong enough canning. Most of you already know that already, but it's just a warning for any of you newbies out there who are just starting to can. Make sure that you're canning with 5% vinegar. Or you can, if you're already diluting it, you can use more 4% and make it up that way if you're diluting it, right? So just be aware of that and don't just assume that it's strong enough necessarily out there. RJ says, my bank in north central Arkansas also went down on Friday. We talked about a bunch of the things going down. The Social Security website went down on Friday. We had, Kroger. Their grocery store delivery system all went down across the nation. We had a bunch of coincidences happening all at once on Friday. Yep. So their bank down in central Arkansas, everything was down, including the ATMs. It was only for a couple hours, though, and they got it back up. Mesquite Farmer says Atwood's Farm and Ranch Supply, their systems, certain stores have been down all week. So more hacks out there that we didn't even know about. As of yesterday, it was all their stores. They can't do background checks or run debit. They can do credit cards only because they can essentially store the information until they're back online. This is a location in central Texas. So more hacks out there. Make sure that your stuff's secure, right? Make sure your phones, you're probably not going to be targeted by international hackers, probably. You're probably just going to get caught up and swept up in whatever their attack is, but don't be lazy about your passwords. One of the safest things nowadays, I know they used to say, don't write down all your passwords on a piece of paper or whatever, but nowadays with hackers hacking you from all around the world, you don't really have to worry so much about people here and now doing that to you. Having your passwords on paper in a secure location in your home is actually a pretty good way to go nowadays. It's better to have different passwords for all sorts of different places. And remember that if your phone gets hacked and your phone knows all your passwords, what do they have? What do they have? This is a report from Shady Trees. California developing sinkholes and fissures. Now, this also happened down in Mexico around the quake time. Rancho Palos Verdes, entire homes have collapsed or been torn apart. Walls have shifted and large fissures have appeared on the ground. Some say it looks like some of those movies like 2012. So, impacts from the earthquake, right? Be Rich says, in Ohio, our home insurance we carried for over 50 years with the same company canceled our policy after we put in a claim for our roof. They actually paid the claim, but then sent a letter of cancellation. Not a like, we're going to charge you more, but which is like, we're not going to cover you ever again. Like, go get lost. We can't find coverage anywhere for less than triple the price. They actually left our car policy intact, which we are thankful for. There are some blessings among the hardships. I found pretty good rates apparently from AAA for my house, homeowners insurance. But yeah, shop around, find what you can. Terry says, the hospital computer system in our small southwest Idaho town is down. It went down on Wednesday. Estimates are that it may be back up by today, this coming Tuesday. Nurses and doctors have had to hand chart patient notes, medications, and whatever else they chart. My wife is in that hospital and has to let the nurse know when her medication is due. That's kind of scary. I mean, that you have to keep track of when you're supposed to get a medication? What happens if you're asleep? That's not good. Mama D Prepping says, I was in Food City in the Food City, which is a store, right? At first I was like, it's a city, right? No. Food City in eastern Tennessee yesterday, and I was amazed at the lack of dairy. There were so many empty and low areas. Not only that, but the containers that were there were all small. I didn't see many large containers or packages like sour cream and yogurt. This report is from 37 degrees north. There is an update on the apple juice recall. It was the mini bottles at Walmart. Now it's more sizes in about 10 stores, including Dollar General. That's a big one. I know a bunch of you guys shop there, right? Dollar General, Aldi, Walgreens, BJ's, and more. So if you have those little plastic bottles of apple juice, a bunch of these brands are being impacted by this recall. Check to see if your apple juice has been recalled, because it's got what is that, listeria or whatever in there in some of them. So check to see if it's been recalled. If it's been recalled, take it back to the store and get your refund. Okay. Charles says, rural Maryland, 3 stores, Safeway, Giant, and a small local chain have almost no produce. What's available is either past its prime or rotting where it sits. Canned goods also thin. Meats hit or miss. Almost no breads. Newly stocked breads have 2 or 3 days best buy dates. Frozen vegetables, 99% non-existent except for flavored/seasoned varieties which we can't eat. It's getting extremely difficult to find the better apple and orange juices. Once again, that's rural Maryland. Safeway, Giant, and a local small chain. Madam K says, good morning, Steve. Update, stores here in northeast Wisconsin are showing big gaps. No eggs, no butter, no Vienna sausages, no ranch dressing, no green peppers, no wonton wraps, no zucchini, no yellow squash. There is more missing. This is what I remembered that is missing. Michael says, I was in my local Walmart, mid-Michigan, yesterday and looked at big bags, looked at the big bags of rice and beans. I wanted to keep an eye on them for a few weeks to see if your information was correct. You are spot on. They were out of all the big bags of rice except for 1 big bag of basmati rice, 2 big bags of beans. The rest of the bottom shelf was empty. It's scary how accurate we are when we all put all our information together, isn't it? We were talking about the egg shortages a couple months back. And I know that we talk about things so far in advance of these things happening that some people, they think that we're wrong. It's not. We're just ahead. Here's another one. HF went to Walmart yesterday. Coffee went up almost $3. I was shocked, from $10 to almost $13. I'm in Maine. Haven't we been talking about coffee? Haven't I been talking about the cheap coffee, the Folgers, the non-name brand coffee, the Robusta beans? We've had those shortages happening overseas because of the bad harvests in Vietnam and Indonesia. We've been talking about that stuff. Yeah, it takes a while for it to trickle down. If I was telling you stuff like as it's happening, then there's no point in watching, right? We're talking about things going to happen. Okay, our crystal ball isn't perfect. We talked about the hurricanes, and the hurricanes didn't happen. I mean, the government lied to us, and yeah, I believed them a little bit. Okay, sorry. What they said made sense. You know, a lot of us wore those masks too, didn't we? So I ain't the only one who got suckered, okay? A bunch of you got the poke too. Ronan says, all this is happening here in New Zealand as well. So they're seeing issues down there too, food shortages and egg issues. So Granny Shell says, I'm in western South Dakota and my employer just announced no raises for the next 3 years. A lot of people are stuck because they can't find another job and they can't get ahead either. Pray, prep, and pray some more, everyone. Let's hear from this farmer who will give us an idea of what's going on and going through a lot of farmers' heads right now. iFarm says, hi Steve, I saw your video about the beef ranchers questioning if their hard work is still worth it. I was particularly talking about calving, right? My husband and I operate a 4th generation farm in eastern Washington, the good side. Well, it certainly isn't the left side. We have had to take half of the farm out of farm production to grow ornamental crops just to make ends meet. We farm about 3,200 acres, so not a small farm. So there is now 1,600 acres no longer producing food, but rather potted plants and such, ornamental. We, along with many farmers in this area, are questioning if it's worth all the hard work anymore. It is sad and scary at the same time to think that many small generational farms are literally on the brink of destruction. Like a lot of businesses, there are big corporate farms that come in and buy up those family farms, and they will never go back to the way they began. We've also heard that agricultural lenders might be pulling back on operating lines of credit this coming year. That's big news out there. Hopefully that doesn't come fruition, because that would mean a lot less food coming out, right? If farmers can't borrow to buy the seeds and the equipment that they need, that could put many farms out of business. We really appreciate all the information we get from your channel and wanted to just give an update from farm country here on the West Coast. I really hope people are paying attention and realize what the outcome could be in the next couple of years. Thank you for all you do, and have a great day. Well, thank you for sharing with us, and please do keep your updates coming in, everyone. They are making a big impact on a lot of people's lives. They're struggling, and they're being blessed by this channel that you guys are helping produce. Thanks so much for what you guys do. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up here. If you want to get some more information from our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group, there's a link right there to get some more info. Otherwise, I will see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report, out.